Training with the bodybuilding and mobile functionality hammer is based on 5 essential movements. In this video, we're going to talk about one.
Let's press hammers. Of all the movements that we're going through on this 5-movement series, the press is probably going to present the most technical difficulties for most people. The primary reason why is most athletes, when they're working in a gym environment, we kind of get in this habit of only gripping with 3 fingers, and this is going to be the primary key that I give you for this adjustment. Dodgeball. If you find that you're having a lot of difficulty holding onto the hammer and keeping it in control, think about squeezing your last 2 fingers, or primarily your pinky finger, as hard as you can. You need to engage all of that grip in order to keep this uneven load in a position where it's not going to fall off. Okay? The press we're going to be dealing with is a single-handed press. Okay, there's some double-handed stuff that we're going to get into later, but for right now, we're just talking about single-handed presses. Now I'm going to bring in my first model. This is Heather, and she is my wife. Yay! Team Richardson. She's also editing all of these videos, so if you like that, she did it. Okay, let's talk about presses. We're gonna start in a position where the handle is diagonal across your body, okay? No lower body engagement. Think about squeezing quads, glutes, abs, the whole 9 yards. And if you're familiar with an Arnold press, where we rotate around the body and drive up, that's gonna have the closest physiological algorithm to this. So we're gonna drive straight up, put your biceps as close as you can to your ear, and the diagonal of the handle in the lower position is gonna be reversed when we're on top. So here we go, hun. This is her starting position, and there's a gap between her hand and the handle. And the head of the hammer. We don't want the head resting on your hand. We want there to be a little bit of a gap, so you have to really engage the grip as much as possible. Okay, so she's gonna go slightly catty corner, and when you're ready, hand comes off, up she drives, and pulls it back into position. Let's go 3. Good. Notice not a lot of lower body engagement there. Good job. That's okay. So it's actually a really good note. If you lose control on top, don't be a hero. Get rid of it, okay? The hammers are really durable, and if you're training on grass, even better. We can get rid of this thing rather than in the beginning of your training trying to control this handle and this hammer as it comes back down. Do me a favor, turn, yep, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. Okay, so 2 more presses. She's gonna go up, bicep nice and close to here. Then she's gonna squeeze her lat as hard as she can on the way down. So we're putting your elbow right there into the side of your rib cage. Let's go on more. Yep. And back down. Nicely done. Stop. So that is the press. Control on top is gonna be a pretty big issue, okay? We're also probably going to lose a decent amount of control on your way down as you're getting used to it. Just remember, when in doubt, squeeze that last 2 fingers, squeeze the last 2 fingers. Yeah, good job. Yay, presses. Solid through the lower body. And we also want to avoid leaning into this to bring yourself back up. So, let's talk about variations on presses. Where do we start? Okay, especially if you're new to this, to a fitness routine, anything like that. My model's being ridiculous over here and it's making me laugh. We're going to talk about some variations on this press that we can get going in the beginning to get you developing the strength necessary to move the hammer around and press it into a position where it's overhead, but also do that in such a way where you're not gonna hurt yourself, which is of paramount importance. So, this is my buddy, Mike. This is Michael Johnson. We call him Greatness. Yay! We're gonna go into 2 variations on this press. And as I note them in the program, there's a numerical value that goes with these presses. And you'll see there's a 2-in-2 press, there's a 2-to-1 press, and we're gonna talk about negatives. The numbers here indicate how many hands are on the hammer when you start and how many hands are on the hammer when you finish or in your top range of motion. If you're familiar with Olympic lifting at all, that algorithm is gonna be really useful as we move into this. If not, none to fret. Mike and I are gonna go over that, where we talk about a dip and drive. So we're taking the lower body and generating a little bit of momentum to help drive this hammer up into an overhead position. So Mike, if you turn and face the sun, okay, his feet are gonna be hip width apart. All he's gonna do, he's gonna stand up nice and tall, he's gonna unlock his knees, and then dip and drive. Little dip, little drive, dip, drive, okay? And if he does that with violence, what would happen is he would jump in the air. So dip, drive, yep, perfect. What we're gonna do instead is we're gonna take that little dip and drive and use that momentum, transfer it through a tight body position into the hammer as we drive up. So we're gonna start with a 2 and 2. Hand number 1 is gonna be here right under the head. Hand number 2 is here under the pommel. Hand is gonna do 2 things. 1, it's gonna control where that pommel goes, so we're gonna start in a really, really good position. The other thing it's gonna do is it's gonna give a slight base from which we can press off while we're cultivating the lat strength to press single-handed. So from here, what Mike is gonna do is he's gonna keep his body weight in his heels. He's gonna do a little dip and drive, and he's gonna press and add his second hand up on top. So let's just do a little dip and drive and then stop in the top position. Yep, dip, drive, whoop, perfect. Now, this is the other part of our 2 and 2. So we got 2 hands at the bottom, 2 hands at the top. Notice, we've rotated the handle, okay? So the handle is now angled in the opposite direction, and this second hand is keeping stability up here, okay? He's gonna pull his elbow in tight to his body as he comes back down, and this second hand is gonna go right back to its position on the pommel. Here we go. So it comes down, bring it down, whoop, and perfect, okay? Squeezing really hard through the lat, and Mike is making that look really, really easy, which is why I had him here for the press, okay? So let's get 3 reps of that, just up and return. Okay, 2 and 2. 2 and 2. Notice he's driving this ginormous grapefruit bicep next to his ear. Don't shake your head like you don't know what your arm looks like. Okay, not leaning his head in to an offhand so that he gets it close this way. He's driving straight up into that position. Now, that's where we're gonna start. The next thing we're gonna do is we're going to remove that second hand from the top position. So we can still use it as a base. We're gonna go 2 to 1 on top. So same dip and drive, 2 hands at the bottom, dip, drive, and this hand stays off, great position on top, and he's gonna slowly bring that back down. Ooh, so pretty. Whoop. And return. All right, put it down. Your veininess is making me feel awkward. Yeah, I know. Got it. So if on the 2 to 1, what we need to do is add that second hand to the top and then take it off once we're establishing control. That's a great place to start. This upper body control position is probably going to be the thing that takes the longest amount of time to cultivate a lot of comfort with. That's why it's programmed to the degree that it is in the 12 weeks. It's not because I don't like you, it's because I want you to be safe. Remember, I genuinely don't care how many bad reps you can do. You shouldn't either. We'll see you on the slam. Yes.
I'm pretty sure you hit on Michael more than you did on me.
Yeah. Of course I did.